6 from Big Country Gaming, and I wanted to share something I've been working on a lot over the last 3 weeks. And it's actually a new, totally custom 30 team franchise and MLB The Show 20. So the new league that I came up with is called the International Simulation Baseball Alliance. I'm thinking that I'm going to end up actually simulating a lot of games and then streaming them. So I actually did this stream a few days ago and was trying to transfer it onto my YouTube channel and ended up deleting it. So tonight is the reveal of all the teams, the team names, the team logos and jerseys, and the actual stadiums that they're going to be playing in. So I'm gonna fly through it since I've already spent a 2 hour stream on this. Trying to get this done in about 20 to 30 minutes tonight. So just a quick shout out to Nate Snow and Nighthawk. Both of those guys helped me a lot with this. Nate Snow's been a long time buddy of mine, and he actually helped me come up with a lot of the team names and several of the team color schemes and some of the logos as well. So thanks for that. And then Nighthawk, he had an instrumental part in a couple of these teams as well. He gave me some good feedback on some different things. So thank you for that. And so we'll go ahead and get started. To start with the AL East. By the way, these teams are actually in their divisions already. So what you see is what you're going to get. And I do want to mention something really quick. Here on the left, you might see the team budget there. I'm not sure how this is going to change. I do plan on doing a fantasy draft, so I'm not sure if that's displaying the, you know, the actual salary cap or what the team has in payroll. So that may change or it may stay the same based on however the fantasy draft works out. So, all right, so starting up, we've got Santo Domingo Matadors. I thought we would celebrate obvious Caribbean teams. So ended up putting them in the AL East. We'll take a look at their logo. It's a bull, obviously, and then kind of a San Diego flair to it a little bit, but we'll show you the uniforms. Got a very simple hat here, and show you the jersey. Pretty simple jersey. Black back there. Solid white color on the pants. Real simple helmet. And then got the socks. I'm a big fan of socks for some reason, but and then here's our catching gear. So like I said, I'm gonna try to fly through this, guys, because I've already done this once. So here's our away jersey. The hat's pretty much the same. And then we've got our away jersey. It kind of falls along the same lines as like that San Francisco Giants or New York Yankees jersey with the logo on the side there. So gray pants, pretty traditional. Same helmet pretty much. And then we got our socks inverted with the stirrups. A solid gold jacket. And then of course our catching gear. So alright, so that's the Santo Domingo Matadors, and I picked the Baseball City as their field just because it seems to fit pretty well. So, alright, so Maine Harfangs, I really like this one. I ended up finding this logo in the logo vault, and then I changed the font and everything, and I really like it though. The color scheme is inspired by a local high school team, and so I think it fits just really good. So here's our home hat. And then home jersey. Got the logo there. Nothing too fancy on the back. Double stripes down the side. A little bit different logo on the helmet compared to the chest. Just very different, or slightly different, I mean. And then the double stripes on the socks, stirrups. And then this is probably one of my favorite catching gear colors. Alright, similar hat, just going with the gray color scheme now. Going gray with purple pinstripes. It's a very similar batting helmet to the hat. Same socks. And catching gear. Got Highland Park as their park just because this is what I picture Maine looking like. A lot of trees. Okay. So New York Bombers. You can see their main logo there. Basically got the inspiration from the New York Yankees and just kind of wrote it out just like they use the Bronx Bombers term a lot, so that's kind of why I was going with that. And basically they look exactly like the Yankees, so just stuck with that traditional pinstripes, blue and white. You can see the helmet's the same as the hat. Got A-Rod looking socks there. And then here's our catching gear. Here's the aways. Looks exactly like New York Yankees. And then here's our catching gear. Interestingly enough, I picked a classic stadium for several of these, including the Bombers. I thought it'd be cool to use the old Yankee Stadium, so we're going with that one. All right, Florida Glades or the Florida Everglades. I really like this team. I think their uniforms are pretty cool. They're a little bright though. So here's our homes. If you notice, the logo's got the palm tree in there, and I ended up using that throughout the whole uniform, so you can see the palm tree and the glades right there. But yeah, took a page out of Miami's book, and I guess a little bit of some tweaking with the green, or I guess even Florida A&M if you want to. So socks, stirrups, jacket. Here's our catching gear. So that's the homes. Here's the aways. Same concept. I think the gray really offsets this. Really makes it pop. Helmet, socks, and here's our catching gear. And again, this is another one. Went with the classic stadium, Old Miami. I thought it fit really well. So okay, so here's to round out the AL East, the Toronto Huskies. This was totally Nate Snow's creation. He was a guy I mentioned at the very beginning. He came up with this concept, very, I think, inspired by UConn and Toronto Blue Jays and some various other teams. But yeah, this is one of my favorites as well. I really like this uniform. Got a three-tone hat, or I guess even four-tone if you count the buttons and the holes up there. I really like the Huskies part there, but very fairly traditional logo, or not logo, but fairly traditional uniform. I mean, batting helmets, pretty sick. I like that. Socks look good. There's the stirrups. There's our jacket, and then here's pretty good looking catching gear. So we'll take a look at the aways. So keeping that three-tone kind of in concept and going with some baby blues for the aways, or Carolina blue, if you will. Same concept on the helmet, socks, and then here's our catching gear. So that's going to be one of my more favorite teams to play with for sure. And then ended up keeping the Rogers Center. I figured it fits really well with a Blue Jays team. I'm sorry, with the Toronto team. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays logo is still going to be on there and everything, but I don't. I think I can turn that into a story, you know. So, alrighty. So that's the AL East. We'll move on to the AL Central. So we've got the Texas Rattlers. This is also another Nate Snow creation here. So we'll go check this out. You guys can look at the color schemes. I think this green is just magnificent. He picked this color out, and I think it really pops. It really looks good. It's kind of inspired by the Diamondbacks a little bit. So, like I said, though, I really love this color. It looks great. Here's our helmet. More of the same. I think the socks look great. That green just really brings it all together. And then here's our catching gear. So that's the homes. I really like the aways on this too. That green pops. Man, it just pops. It doesn't kill you with it. It's just a nice little touch. And I know it's not traditional to go with the white pants with the away uniforms, but I figured it'd be okay with this one. So, and then I really like the catching gear here as well. So, and went with Old Texas on this one. Yeah, again, I just feel like it fits really well, so we kept that one. All right, so we'll move on to the Mexico City Aztecs. Found these in the logo vault. Ended up manipulating it a little bit. This is really based on the Mexico World Baseball Classic uniforms. So I took their logo and just manipulated it and made it Mexico City. But you can see how similar these uniforms are to the World Baseball Classic uniforms. I think they look really clean. I think the logos look really good on this one too. So here's our batting helmet. Just solid green socks and stirrups. A red jacket, and then a little bit of a Christmassy looking catching gear, but I think it works. So that's the aways. We'll look at the homes. I'm sorry, that was the homes. We'll look at the aways. I think Mexico City I really do think it looks really good. So in retrospect, I think I wish I would have put Aztecs on the homes instead of Mexico City, but either way, I think this looks really good. So, alright, and then went with Capital Field since Mexico City is the capital for Mexico. So, and this is one of my more personal favorites, the Michigan Mittens. You can see what the obvious inspiration is. Obviously, you know, we've got the Red Sox, we've got the Black Sox, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to do Mittens as its own little thing, and also Michigan. You know, you got the mitten part of Michigan, the state. I think it represents really well, and then of course Michigan Wolverines with blue and gold. You'll notice I put established 1879. I wanted to bring a little bit of history to the league, so I put that in there as just kind of maybe a storyline I come up with down the road. So I basically stole this right out of Michigan, the Michigan Wolverines. Uh, uniform closet. I went with the creams, and this is essentially exactly what they wear at home. So went with these helmets, and then I really love these socks. I think they just look so clean on these uniforms. And then I think the catching gear looks fantastic. So we'll show you the aways. Kind of inspired by like some older Milwaukee Brewers type uniforms here. Um, but yeah, I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan of this. And then I like the helmets for sure. I like the two-tone yellow and blue, and then same socks. And then we're a little yellow heavy on this one, but that's okay. And went with Industry Center Stadium just because I know if you're in Detroit, I mean they're known for all their automobile industry and several factories and stuff around there. So I thought it fit really well. All right, here's one of my. This is probably my most favorite concept. Not my most favorite logo, but definitely one of my most favorite concepts. The Missouri Spoonbills. So I am from Missouri. So if you don't know what a spoonbill is, a spoonbill is it's a big lake fish. They also call them paddlefishes, but around here the local name is a spoonbill. So I created this logo myself. I do really like these uniforms. Someone commented the other night that they were a little Diamond Dynasty type, but I kind of agree with that. But this gives you, this doesn't have to be Major League Baseball, right? We're having fun with this. So I went with a little something off-brand here. So I really do think the blue pops really well in the charcoal gray. So got the triple line on the socks. And then I think the catching gear fits really well, and that green pops good. It's a different kind of green compared to the Rattlers, so I'm proud of this one. Here's our aways. I think the green looks really good here as well. That's kind of an old school Seahawks type color. So same helmet as the hat basically, same socks. And then went with that old school type color there. So yeah, that's the Missouri Spoonbills. I gave them the Riverboat Field. Missouri's known for its riverboats, so why not? Alright, so here's the last AL Central team, the Wisconsin Kurds. This is another Nate Snow creation. I think he did a fantastic job with it because he was able to take the colors and not make it look way too McDonald'sy, but also make it enough different from the Wisconsin Badgers. It really has its own theme here. I like the black around the Kurds. I think it looks really good. So here's the helmet. Here's our. This is the only thing I think looks kind of McDonald'sy or the socks or a hot hot dog, ketchup and mustard, basically that look. And then here's our catching gear. So I chose Miller Park just because there is only like 25 minor league stadiums, so I had to choose a couple local ones, or not local, but the original MLB or classic stadiums to offset that. I forgot to show you the away. We'll go back. Very simple, very classic looking uniform, all gray. Same helmet as the hat. And then same socks, yellow jacket. And then a little different on the catching gear there, a little more subdued with the colors. So that's your Wisconsin Kurds. So now I've got the AL West. the Los Angeles Black Mambas. I came up with this concept. I'm really proud of it just because I think it's a really cool tribute to Kobe Bryant. Um, there's a, there's even another cooler part to it. If you look at the logo, you can see his Black Mamba logo within the snake. So I'll also show you something on the uniform someone that I found in the logo vault. But first, take a look at the hat. You can see that Kobe Bryant logo in there. And then if you look at the front of the jersey, it's a tribute to Kobe. So, peace out, Mamba. I really like the color scheme. This is obviously very Lakers inspired. So, got the double stripe down the side. Pretty slick looking helmet. Lakers socks. Cool looking catching gear. Looks a little bit like LSU, but this is also kind of a Diamond Dynasty type looking uniform. And this one's pretty bright. Same tribute logo there. Went with the grays on the bottoms. Here's our helmet. Lakers socks again. And then here's our catching gear. So there we go. Chose Franco Park for this one just because it kind of looks like you're downtown in the middle of in a city. So it got a few skyscrapers. I thought this one kind of felt the best like LA. Alright. So this is one that my other buddy, Nighthawk, actually helped me with. He made the actual bison, and then I kind of went in there and tweaked a few things, and then also made the flag of Wyoming. I felt like this really represented the state well, but this is one of my more favorite ones as well. I like the really simple design of the hat, really simple design of the jersey and the pants. Everything's very basic with this. Same helmet. Stirrups and the socks. A jacket. And then some good looking catching gear right here. And then here's our away uniforms. I got a comment that the hat looked kind of like one of the Washington Sentinels hats in the replacements from that movie. So that was kind of interesting, but pretty basic away uniform. Here's our away helmet, socks, stirrups, jacket, catching gear. So for this one, I picked Green Valley Stadium. I mean, when I see Wyoming, that's pretty much what I envision. Trees, big old pine trees, down in a valley somewhere. So, alright, Seattle Totems. This is a team that's actually, I believe they're a junior hockey league team. Or at one point might have even been a minor league hockey team, something like that. But I actually, Nate Snow actually made this logo. He kind of took some concepts from the Seattle Seahawks and the Totems and kind of merged them. And so, yeah, I really like this one as well. So went with a kind of that same color scheme that the Seattle teams usually have, blue and green. I think it fits really well. Shows the city off really well. I love this helmet. Get that 3-tone socks. They look good. This is one of the few stirrups that is not white, or the sock is not white. And then here's our catching gear for this one. Laughing Mountain Park, that's their home for now. I picked this one mainly because of the kind of the mountains, and then you can actually see the totem pole out there in left field. So I gotta show you the aways. I think it's pretty obvious. You can tell that I chose a very Seattle Seahawks grays type color scheme with this, but I think it really looks good. I think it pops, but it's not too much. So, alright. So that is the AL West Seattle Totems. Here's the AL West Australia Kangaroos. I merged two logos with this. The Australia World Baseball Classic logo with a kangaroo logo that I found in the logo vault. And as you can see, it looks very, very similar to the Oakland A's. I just put kangaroos on there and changed their logo on the hat. Very, very similar. So I do like this. I think it fits Australia really well. And then I had the idea to just put the simple kangaroo logo up there on the helmet. This is very Oakland A's looking right here with the socks and the stirrups. And then I really like yellow. I think it pops. I think it looks great. Offsets that dark green. So there's our ways. Very similar hat. Changed the color scheme up a little bit on the jersey. Went with the yellow hat or helmet this time. Same logo. Same socks. And then same catching gear here. Chose the Wagon Man Stadium for obvious reasons. That's basically what you would see, I think, in the Outback. Or at least similar. If you were going to be in Australia. So, all right, here's the last team of the AL West. We got the Vancouver Salmon. This is one of the. I think this is the most wild team as far as color schemes go. So here's our hat. We got that salmon logo there in the middle. Got the salmons on the jersey. Got a wild looking helmet here. Socks. And then it's pretty ugly looking catching gear. So those are the homes. And then basically everything on the aways are just kind of flip-flopped here. So similar jersey, just different colors. I really like the three-tone. And then socks. And then there's your catching gear. So, alright, and then Center City Field. I've never been to Vancouver, but I imagine they'd probably build one downtown or something. So I tried to get something with a more of a city type feel to it. So here it is. Alright. So we're halfway done so far. I'm going to get a refill on a drink really quick. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So, to start off the National League, we've got the National League East, and we've got the Indiana Coy Dogs. So, this concept is probably one of my more favorite ones as well. For a personal reason, I used to live in Indiana, and one of the local, I don't know, one of the local cool things was that the coyotes, and there was a population of coyotes and a population of stray dogs, and they mated, and so they were called coy dogs. So I found this logo in the logo vault. Um, Created the logo on the hat. It's just a C with an interlocking eye to create the Indiana Coy Dogs look. Very basic uniform here. Nothing too wild. Got the stripes. Three-tone helmet. A little bit of a Baltimore Orioles look there. Socks. And then here's our catching gear. And then here's our ways. Got a little bit of gray in there. Very Baltimore looking. I like the three-tone with the gray. I think it looks really good. Socks, stirrups, and here's our catching gear. So, alright, and then I picked the Oak Street Park. This is pretty much what I would expect for a backdrop in Indiana. So, alright, it's now one of the best color schemes, the Puerto Rico sugarcane. This logo, I kind of made the sugarcane looking backdrop and then put the Puerto Rico World Baseball Classic logo over the top of that. I love this color scheme. This color scheme is fantastic. I really like the blue, the Carolina blue, and the yellow. I think it looks fantastic. This is one of my more favorite logos as well, because you got a monster peeking out of the sugar cane there. Got some good looking socks. Nice sugar cane script. And then very North Carolina-esque here. And then I chose Baseball City again for them. This is the only stadium that is shared, just because I feel like you gotta have palm trees if you're gonna be a team in the Caribbean. So, alright. So now we're gonna do the Cuba Jets. They're also in the NL East, and I think this logo really fits with who Cuba would be. You know, they're known for their Air Force and among other things like that. So I thought I know that the World Baseball Classic uniforms are very flashy and very bright and red. So I went a little above and beyond on this one and gave him something a little bit different. So made him really bright. Here's our logo, and then just all red. And then we got our catching gear here. That might be a little bit too much, but that's okay. And then here's our ways. I tried to go for a vest type feel, but the sleeves go out and over the shoulders, so, but I still kind of liked it, especially the script. So here's our catching gear. Okay. And then I chose Dade Palm Field, which is another spring training facility, which I think this would look just like probably Cuba would. Alright, so we got the London Monarchs. I feel like you can't have a custom franchise and not have a London team in there. And then obviously if you're going to have a London team, you can't have any kind of logo that's not King inspired. So Um, but yeah, I this is just one of their generic logos. I put some color in there and then created the, I guess, crest as you would call it, where it said London and Monarchs parts. So I do love the concept I came up with these guys for the pinstripes. No pinstripes on the pants. Got a dark jersey with the red on the pinstripes. And then I think this helmet looks real good. I went with some crazy socks there. And then here's our catching gear. There's the away jerseys, same concept. Almost like maybe a Minnesota Twins or maybe a Washington Nationals look. Same helmet, same socks, just different colors. And then here's our catching gear. So I chose the Crystal Falls Stadium. I feel like this is an old city, and maybe even almost a Big Ben looking kind of clock tower down there in center field. So I thought it fit well. And to round out the NL East, we got the Montreal Moose. I'm really proud of this logo. Really proud of this logo. I spent a lot of time on it, and I think it fits Montreal really well. Um, so we'll show you this one. I think these uniforms are very basic, but also very clean. Not a lot of flash. Just very, very clean. Very simple. Figured Montreal would be a little weird, right? So we'll go with the weird socks. And then another North Carolina type looking catching gear. So that's the homes. And then the aways, we went with the gray. I do like this logo a lot. And then I chose Water Ridge Field. Alright, so that's the end of the NL East. Got 2 divisions left. Now, this next one is obviously very Chicago Blackhawks inspired. In fact, this is maybe like I think this is more of a concept logo that someone came up with several years ago. I actually first used this logo in an NCAA dynasty that I did way, way, way back in the day, probably about 5, 6, 8 years ago. And I used it in the team builder concepts. So I knew this logo was out there. I figured somebody was going to make it. Someone actually already made it for me, so I went ahead and used it. But very Blackhawks inspired here. So very simple hat. Went with the pinstripes on this one as well. Very simple socks, stirrups, and catching gear. So, and then our away jerseys, actually straight up stole the Blackhawks hat logo there, and here's our logo on the chest. Same thing on the helmet. And catching gear. And I went ahead and kept Wrigley Field just because, what's more Chicago than Wrigley, right? So went ahead and kept that one. This is another one of those logos I spent ages on trying to perfect and really work on. I spent so much time on the deer and on the Colorado looking sea in there that comes from the state flag and creating the crest and all that stuff. But the Colorado Muleys were a team that I was really excited about. I felt like I could really do a lot of fun things with them. So I went with the Creams here. I definitely had a lot of inspiration from the Minnesota Wild and their color scheme. So that's kind of what I did here. I really love the C here. I think it works really well. I think the socks look fantastic. And then the catching gear, I mean, that just looks like somebody on the Minnesota Wild playing goalie right there. So here's the aways. I really like the aways, maybe more than the homes. I think I like the helmet better. I don't like the catching gear as much, but I'm going to roll with it. I think it still looks kind of cool. And then Barnes Canyon Park, self-explanatory there. You got the mountains in the background. So, alright. So you've got the Ozark Lookouts. This is another locally inspired team. Being from Missouri, of course, you've got the Ozark Mountains. And um, Lookout Lookout Point is home to the C of O, which is called the College of the Ozarks. And I thought, you know, a team called the Lookouts could be the Bald Eagles, so I went with that logo and threw that together. Went very Clemson as far as the color schemes are concerned. There's our socks and catching gear. So that's the homes, and then these are the aways. Very simple, but you know, kind of a very similar, a very traditional type look. This is one of my favorite helmets. The matte with the eagle and with the gray in there just looks fantastic. And then I chose All American Park because you've got mountains in the background, which look like the Ozark Mountains. So, alright, and we'll move on to the Oklahoma Outlaws. I love this logo. You got the little raccoon in there. I think it looks great. This is very Oklahoma City Thunder and Mets inspired with the color scheme. I like the pinstripes. This is another Nate Snow creation. Like I said, I can't thank him enough. He put a lot of effort into this, and it looks really good. So, got the catching gear here, and then I really like the blacks. But I think the best part about this one is the orange pinstripes on the gray pants. You can't even hardly notice it, but you notice it just a little bit. I think it's a nice little feature that not a lot of teams have done before. So bright orange. Then went with Main Street. I mean the backdrop looks exactly what you would see in the middle of Oklahoma, you know. So, and the last team is the Houston Pipeliners. This is very Houston Roughnecks inspired, but also Houston Oilers. And then I've got family members that are Pipeliners, so I decided to call them the Pipeliners. I did end up using the Houston Roughnecks logo, so don't hold me to that. So you can see I've got the Houston Roughnecks hat, or I'm sorry, the H on the hat, and then you can see that logo's on there. So very Roughnecks inspired. I think it looks similar to the Astros even, just different color scheme, and then also kind of a Los Angeles Angels type with the jersey font and everything. I like this helmet. I think it looks really clean. And then here's our catching gear. This is our away, same hat, kept the same basic scheme for the jersey. Helmet, and then catching gear. And chose the porch just because, you're in Houston and it's a pretty busy city and you got a little bit of industrial life there, so that's what I've got here. Alright, so last 5 teams here. We got the Hawaii Islanders. They've got a crazy cotton candy type color scheme. This is another Nate Snow creation here. He came up with the color scheme. Very bright. Here's your helmet, socks, jacket, cotton candy catching gear. And these are the aways. And then I went with Statesman Park. It almost looks like you got not the volcanoes themselves, but some of the mountains that are in Hawaii on the islands there too, and it's in the middle of the city, so. We got the Alaska king crabs. Basically, I ripped off the Kansas City Royals here with the hat logo, but then this is our own creation here with the jersey. I really like just the crab on the helmet there, and got some weird looking socks. And then here's our catching gear. Here's our away, same hat, same jersey, just gray, traditional away jersey. And then there's our catching gear. I chose Ship It Stadium for obvious reasons. You got the mountains back there as well, so. Alright, I think this is a crowd favorite. This next one's the Las Vegas Gamblers. Really love the logo on this one, and I think it's a nice merge of the UNLV and Las Vegas Knights color schemes. So you can see that. I think it looks just fantastic. One of my favorite logos. Just all grayed out version. Alright, and then I chose Iron Horse Stadium. I feel like this is the epitome of Las Vegas. I mean, you can see the big trucks in the right center field. You can see all the mountains and the dunes in the back. Alright, here's the Tokyo Samurai. You can see the nice logo there. Now this is kind of similar to the Gamblers, but a little bit different shades. Felt like, the Tokyo needed to be probably red and white. And then I found this logo, and the yellow seemed to really set those off well. So I personally really like this. Really like the color scheme and the pinstripes and all that stuff. Looks a little bit like Harry Potter, I guess. So that's the homes, and here's the aways. Oops. There's our helmets, socks, and catching gear. And Blue River Stadium, I mean, I think that looks probably very similar to what Tokyo would look like. Lots of skyscrapers and bridges and stuff like that. So, alright, here's the last team, San Francisco Seals. This is all another Nate Snow creation. And this is very similar to the San Francisco Giants. A lot of inspiration there. Got the cream uniforms for the homes. Nice Seals script there. Very plain helmet. Nice clean socks. Good jacket. I even like the catching gear quite a bit too. So we'll go take a look at the aways. Again, very San Francisco Giants inspired. Very traditional looking uniform there. I like this helmet a lot. And those are very Auburn looking socks there. And then catching gear. So, and then the last thing is Bayfront Park. You can't pick a San Francisco team and not expect to pick a park that's called Bayfront Park. So, well, all right, guys. So that's it. That's all the teams. I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm gonna get this switched over to YouTube soon. Hopefully without deleting it like I did my last one. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Another thank you shout out to Nate Snow and Nighthawk. And in my previous video, I had one of my buddies, Jimbo, as we call him, or his gamer tag is You Can Do It. That guy, he helped me a lot with the commentary on my last video, but unfortunately, like I said, it got deleted, and so now he's not going to get to be on that. So, but hey, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment, give me a like on there, and I'd love to see you guys check in on Twitter at Big Country Gaming, and you can find us on Twitch at OKState56 or YouTube at Big Country Gaming as well. So, alright guys, thank you for tuning in.